I did everything that meant more money, even if it didn't necessarily mean money right now. We're gonna tear down the wall and make this 400 square feet. Will that work for you? I'm like, double the stuff, double the business in first year. Like, yeah, I'm great. Like, let's do it. So I'm in the driveway, SUV's pulling up. Five 12-year-old boys get
Just
out of the
jumping
car,
out.
and I'm saying, come this way.
Oh
Come
man,
on.
come on
Come
into
this
my basement.
dark basement down here, kids. And the moms are like, have a good time. I'm like, I must have the most trusted
That's
face in the world.
insane. Hello and welcome to Gym World Worldwide. We are on the road. I'm running solo, a mini episode today because I am in Toronto
Welcome to Toronto, brother Samir.
for the Business for Unicorns Summit, March 2025. By myself, we're in the minimal setup here today. We got my phone recording, we got some mics, some Rode mics. Today I'm joined by Tim Concannon, owner of Nothing Stronger, over in Massachusetts somewhere.
Weymouth, Mass.
Weymouth, Massachusetts. Today we're going to learn about his origin story. We're going to learn about how he got the gym started from a basement all the way to where we are today. We're going to talk about the different programs he runs. We're going to talk about keeping it simple with small group personal training and how he balances the gym life with the family life. Tim, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. It's an honor.
So, no, the honor's all mine. So tell me a little bit about the gym. Tell me a little bit about how you guys got started, how you got started in fitness, and the clientele that you serve.
So the gym is Nothing Stronger. We do small group personal training, up to 6 people, 140, 150 members. We also do, well, we do athletes, we do adults. We do sports medicine too. So my wife is a doctor of athletic training. She does everything from journaling to cupping to myofascial decompression, concussion therapy, like you name it, she does it. She's a wizard with rehabilitation evaluations. So I always say we do 2 things. We do small group personal training, we do sports medicine. Whether they're an adult or an athlete, they train together. We have templated programs that we break up into individualized based on modifications, progression, regressions. Nothing crazy. We keep it really simple and sweet. Simplicity is like the key to like everything we do. Just so the member understands it, our coach understands it, and there's really very minimum questions asked once the person onboards.
That's what I really loved about when I was checking out your website before. It's like, yeah, the programs tabs, got 2 things on it, you know, and it's kind of beautiful. It's kind of, it's a great thing to see. I guess while we're on the subject, if you have the 2 programs, you're pretty dialed in. How do you package and price?
So there's 2 options. We have 3 times a week and 2 times a week.
There you go.
3 times a week, 120 a week, 2 times a week, $9 a week. We'll go through a rate increase pretty soon, but that's a sales pitch. When they ask for the pricing, we give it to them. It's really simple. It's really sweet. It's really easy to understand. If it doesn't fit their budget, it doesn't fit their budget. I can't change that for them. So it really comes through like the whole In-N-Out burger, how there's like 3 options. Like I like that. Like I visited San Diego, I went out there. I'm like, this is really simple to understand. And pricing like should be simple to understand. Even if you have complex pricing structures, you should have an idea of what's like the 1-2 things that the avatar is going to buy. So only present them that 1 or 2 things. You may have 8 pricing sheets because you train different people, but the one person you're talking to probably only fits into those 1 or 2 pricing sheets.
Yeah, I think the In-N-Out example is great. I used to do some marketing talks and seminars, and the In-N-Out menu was one of the talking points. They do have the secret menu, but I don't think that's why they are where they are today. I think it's because you've got number 1, number 2, number 3 on the menu. So tell me a little about the origin story, right? How did you guys get started? Your gym's pretty close to capacity now based off talking to you. How do we get to this point from starting out in the basement?
Yeah, so it actually goes even further back than that, whereas I met my wife in 2008. We were best friends in college.
Oh, nice.
4 years, we were best friends. We did everything together. She was the smartest in the class. I was the dumbest. The last day, we said,
Match made in heaven.
yeah. I was like, the last day, like, let's give this a shot. And
Last day of
last day of
school?
college. Yeah, last day of
Oh,
school. Yeah, last
wow.
day of school. So we gave it a shot. She went off to get her master's at UMass, did kinesiology, and I just worked like crazy. But we always talked about, wouldn't it be cool to have a gym someday and like own a business someday? So I work like crazy, and I have notes on Nothing Stronger from 2013. So fast forward until 2020, I was working at a health club, COVID hit, everyone got laid off.
Wait, what do you mean notes?
So I have like notes on like lifting people, like nothing stronger, like what I want a gym to stand for.
Oh, so you've been like vision boarding this
Yeah, like the
for
like had the
like
feel of
for
it,
like
the look
seven
of it, the
years.
colors, the logo, like yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. So I guess I can make a pit stop in 2013. I was like, I'm gonna give gym ownership a shot. I got 3 clients. I clearly know what I'm doing. I was at a health club at the time, and I go and rent a place for $200 a month in a racquetball facility. And I had the name of it was TC Training. It was shaped like a diamond, had a T and a C in it, and it was shaped like a diamond, the logo, because nothing's stronger than a diamond. And I'm like, I can make this work. $200 a month. I couldn't make it work. So it was pretty pathetic. I was pretty bad at this whole thing. And I have an uncle that's done well in business, and he's like, I think you should stay at the local health club and just ramp up your clientele.
Yeah, get your book of
Yeah,
clientele.
so that was a good option. So I started really focusing on that. I left that TC training behind. And then 7 years, I put like total focus and full time into growing my clientele. And then as I kept going, I started thinking, you know what, there's nothing strong. Like my mom at the time was going through cancer. Well, previous to that, I was going through cancer. And then I started training people that were fighting their own battles with cancer. And then I was training a firefighter. I had this like crazy story. I trained a wounded warrior, an amputee. And I was like, man, like there's nothing stronger than that. And
How did,
that's where it hit, was like the name of it and the brand of it, and what I wanted my gym to stand for was like the identity that someone wants to match. Like it's maybe not like who you are now, but like who do you want to become?
how did you, I guess, attract this kind of group of it sounds like a lot of these people went through some adversity, right? Whether it was health problems or whether it was being a firefighter, and the trials that goes with that kind of a job. Like how did that happen? Is just your personality, or it was just who was getting suggested to you at the health club,
I
or?
mean, this health club has 10,000 members, and I was working, 50 hours a week, so it was constant conversations of talking to people, and just by nature talking about like adversity and obstacles, and just being open to like people's stories. I started getting to know everybody at the health club more, and just collecting stories and talking to people, and that's when the vision of Nothing Stronger started happening. That gym shouldn't be about shirts off and
Yeah.
guns blazing, but more like how do you create storytelling marketing around the people inside your facility. So around that was from like 2013 to 2020. 2020 came, COVID hit. I don't do that great at sitting still. And 6 months before COVID hit, one of my members ran a fundraising opportunity for like a special needs camp I volunteered, and she said, "Hey, can we do this fundraising opportunity for your camp you volunteer at an auto body shop?" And I said, "Absolutely, like let's
At
do
an
it."
auto body
Yeah,
shop?
yeah, at an auto body shop. Yeah, so they raised $1,000 as a thank you. I got her a heart monitor and a TRX, and she kept coming back to her training sessions at the club. And she's like, "Where do I get dumbbells? Where do I get kettlebells? Where do I get a barbell? Where do I get a rack?" And I'm like, "What are you doing over there?" And she's like, "I'm gonna build a home gym." And I said, "Whoa." I'm like, let me just stop right there. Just let me do it for you so I know it's right. So I show up to her house, and this 200 square foot box. I actually just posted a picture of it on our Instagram. 200 square foot. And she's like, "What can I make out of here?" I was like, "We'll do our best, but like we do squat racks and dumbbells, kettlebells with turf, like everything." So we built it out, and it was awesome. COVID hit, and I was so nervous to ask her to train people out of her basement. I was like, "What's one way I can do this? Like how can I make this happen?" She comes up to me, and she's like, "Tell people that I'm your aunt, and have them come through the bulkhead, down the stairs, into this unfinished basement, and then this beautiful gym that we created." And
Wow.
I was like, "It's so funny you said that. I was going to ask you the exact same thing. I had the exact same story. Like, can I tell people you're my aunt?" And it was crazy. So like March 18th, whatever it was, I started sending out text messages, and I was like, "Hey, if you're interested in training, like we can do this like in this basement, XYZ." I started going after neighbors and family and like different people that I trained before.
Yeah.
And I was like, it wasn't so much the people that like I had like in my bubble,
Yeah.
but more like neighbors and like people from church, and then other things. I was just like, "Hey, if you want to come and train, I'm doing this basement thing at my at
I
my
was
aunt's
gonna say it
house."
had to be close people in your close network. It couldn't have been your like
Dude,
yeah
it
your
was so sketchy. Like
yeah.
it was like it was like, but but like it wasn't because they knew of me, but like they would pull up to the driveway. I would be in the driveway, I'm like, it's down here. You know what I mean? So it's down here. Come on, come follow me.
Stranger's
so,
house.
So it started like picking up. It started picking up and like getting a little bit busier. And
So you're doing one-on-ones out of here, or are you doing like some
I'm
small
doing
groups?
one-on-ones to start, and then they started doing 2-on-1, and then they started doing 3-on-1. But that was really tight. There was the
Yeah,
the
that's
3-on-1s.
tough.
The 3-on-1s. I wasn't even in the room. I was like by the stairs, and I told them what to do. So I was desperate. Yeah, because I didn't even tell this part. But the first day, March 18th, I started doing this. I went home. I was like, Jen, I think I can make this work. And she goes, I'm pregnant. I'm like, oh my God. So we were pregnant with that first kid at the time. And
Is there AC down there, or no? It's a basement.
it's a basement, but there was AC down there.
Okay.
That'll be important to the story in
Yeah.
the next phase of it.
Okay.
But so we started training people down there, and it gets to like November, December, and I can be pretty busy down there. And I was like, I got to go get a bigger location. I just gotta. I'm sorry, but this is great, but like I got to get a bigger location. And her and her husband were just like, no, you don't. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna tear down the wall. Dude, I can't make this up. We're gonna tear down the wall and make this 400 square feet. Will that work for you? I'm like, double the business in first year. Like, yeah, I'm great. Like, let's do it. So I go away to Jersey to be with a couple friends for the weekend, and sure enough, her and her husband took down. There was a 200 square feet and then a wall and 200 square feet that was just used for storage in their house. They took down the wall, they raised the HVAC and put AC
Oh my gosh.
into this room.
Oh my
so we
gosh.
shut the gym down for a week. We doubled I got home and the wall was gone. And they're like, you're going to double the space. You can get more people in here. How many people do you think you can fit in this room now? And I was like, oh no.
Are you paying them rent?
No.
Wow.
I trained it for free.
What are you charging people for the basement gym?
So basement gym, before I doubled the space, which sounds fancier than it is because it only went to 400 square feet. It was like $30 a session. And once I doubled it, I immediately raised it up to like what the standard was for a small group because I was charging people like what it would have been for 6-on-1, but it was like really
30 a session's like you could do a fancy class in New York for 30, like a group class. So you're charging for one-on-one.
So I immediately raised it up, and I kind of put it on like because I knew eventually I was going to get out of this space. So I raised it up to kind of what it is now, and that worked. So we had 400 square feet at the time. We had like the beautiful AC coming down, and now I could do like 4-on-1, which worked a bit better. But now I started catching on. People started getting excited. So I started telling my friends. So now I also train athletes, right? So now I'm getting calls from like parents and be like, hey,
you used to train my kid. I didn't know what's going on.
no, like cold leads.
Cold
people. Leads. Now we got new people. So
Wow.
now we got people calling in and they're like, hey, I got a son and he has buddies. Can they come and train with you? I'm like, yeah, sure. How old are they? They're 12. All right, great. How many are there? There's 5 of them, and we can get all 5 of them to you if you can make this work. So now I'm in the driveway, SUV's pulling up. 5 12-year-old boys get out of the car, and I'm saying, come this way. Come on
into my basement.
Dark basement, down here, kids. And the moms are like, have a good time. I'm like, I must have the most trusted face in the world.
Insane.
So the parents didn't come down. They didn't check it out. They just watched their kid.
They just dropped them off.
Dropped them off and just watched this kid walk. Just because honestly, word of mouth was really strong. There's a lot of trust. There was a lot of I did establish a ton of trust in the community. And like if people did refer it, it was a very like a high referral. But sometimes with the cold leads, I was always surprised. I was like, you want to come down, like look at it? They're like, no, I'll be back in an hour. I'm like, I don't even know if you're gonna come back and pick up your kid. Like, I don't know if we're gonna have this kid.
Wow.
But that crushed.
People signing stuff? People signing stuff? You have them in a
we had like a waiver. We had like a paper waiver. Yeah, we had like I trained Ware at the time. Showed me with a waiver, and people signed that. And then it was all like cash and Venmo. And then obviously I stepped up my game with Kilo.
Right.
But at that time it was like cash and Venmo and like a Google sheet of green if they paid and red if they did it. Yeah, that's how we started.
Wow, that's amazing.
But yeah, so that was, we got up to 69 members in that 400 square feet.
Whoa, almost 100. That's
almost 100.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey gym owners, are you looking for a way to generate more leads, close more sales, and increase client retention? Introducing Kilo. We are a software company that gives gym owners the tools they need to increase revenue and run a successful gym. With Kilo, you get a beautifully designed website to capture more leads, an integrated marketing automation platform to increase sales, and our gym management software so you can add new client memberships, process payments, and organize your class schedule. If you're ready to upgrade your gym management software, Book a call at usekilo.com.
So what year did we finally move out of the basement? When did we get out of there?
Well, when we decided to move, my wife told me she was pregnant with our second kid, and that would have been 2022. So we stayed in that gym for just over 2 years. Stayed in that
Wow,
basement.
2 years
That was a
in the
while.
basement.
Yeah, because we moved, because we started in the basement March 2020, and we started in a new facility when Addison was born in November of 2022.
Wow.
The week she was born, we started in the new facility, which is 1,500 square feet. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Okay, so now you're signing a lease. How big is this the current space that you're in now?
this is the current space. So we signed a lease for 3 years. We're almost about to re-up that. So we just got in October this year. That'll be gone. So we'll most likely re-up right now. So it's 1,500 square feet. It's 1,000 square feet of training floor space, 2 handicap accessible bathrooms, and then my wife, who's a doctor of athletic training, she runs our sports medicine practice. She has maybe 300 square feet in the back right of it.
So, not to like, I'm not trying to diminish your chops, but what was it about the product in the basement that you think people were gravitating to? I mean, was it just that your coaching is just that good? Is it the program? Is there something special about the way you run your sessions? Like, what made this catch on fire, do you think?
I really think that it was a sense that they were building something like with me. Like I'm really open with the people of like here's where we're going, here's what we're doing, like here's the vision behind this. Eventually we're gonna do this. So it was like they were like almost like you invest in a stock, they were investing in my gym. Like people truly care about this brand, they care about the mission behind it. We always say like lifting people, not just weights. You know, like everything we do in marketing is going to be storytelling. It's going to be action oriented. Like there's going to be a person behind it, and we're always going to try to lift somebody so that they don't feel diminished. That honestly, sometimes the fitness industry can do a really good job of bringing people down. And it's like, why don't we like reverse that and spin it so it's not like so aesthetically pushing people that like you need to look like this, you need to feel like this. But how about you just like be you and show up 3 times a week? You know, so that's kind of like where we're at with how we do things. But it was like a cool vibe. It was like we had some cool lighting in there. It was like we had our logo up there. It was definitely a sense of like, oh, this is nothing stronger. I mean, I would crush the coaching. It was obviously just me at the time, and you would just like complete the service. It was a lot of like texting, a lot of phone calls, a lot of email, a lot of one-on-one time. I'd stay up to have conversations. Like you just like completely crush the customer service side, and I think people just gravitated towards that.
It makes sense. And it's, it's a real intimate setting. It's an intimate group. It's underground. People think they're a part of something that's exclusive and unique and cool. And like, as you said, they're buying in to the mission. Okay, so now we're in the big space. How did you continue to grow? How did you continue to get, because now you have to pay rent. Now you have to hire some staff. Now you have to buy equipment. So how do we get the money for that? How did we start selling people? Once we kind of exhausted the referral kind of tight-knit group, how did we start growing from there?
I did everything that meant more money, even if it didn't necessarily mean money right now. So rate increase, check. That makes more money. More sessions were added to the schedule, even though that may have lowered my session utilization. It was worth that risk if it opened up more doors for people to like try different sessions or have more leads come in, try different sessions. So let's say I was at like 90% session utilization, but I was only doing 38 sessions a week. All right, so now I'm gonna go, 44 sessions a week. Here's some different like times for you guys to train. If you want to do this, like let's say a 9 o'clock person can really train at 10 o'clock, they bump to 10 o'clock so they can sleep in. That opens up another 9 o'clock for like another local mom to come in and train. So that was very valuable. And I would always make like 3 month bets for myself. Like, why don't I just do this for 3 months and see what happens? So it wasn't like I'm very like data driven because I'm an emotional guy behind everything. I can make like emotional decisions. So the data and the numbers like really help me and support like my thinking. So I would see the number drop, the session utilization go from like 85 to like 77 to like 65, and I'd be like, don't freak out, just keep pounding the pavement with emails, keep pounding the pavement with the referrals, keep pounding the pavement with the word of mouth strategy. And it was always like if someone even said like my sister, my aunt, my friend, my coworker, like bring them in, free week, bring them in, free. Like I must have said free week a billion times in my life. It's honestly like only been my LBO like ever since I started, like just because like it's always work, like free week, come on in. So I mean, the biggest takeaway that people are going to get from this podcast is that like the business is so simple. I do not overcomplicate it. It's easy for people to understand. Like they know where to go, they know how to buy, they know what's expected of them, and like even when I'm about a coach, the program design is easy. Like how you talk to people is easy, how we behave is easy. There's nothing like muddy or complicated about what we do, and that's like by design and on purpose.
I like what you said about the utilization rate. So for gym owners listening, right? If you have 6 people in a class spot and it's always at 5 or 6 people, you're at 90%, 100% utilization rate for that spot. And it sounds like what you're saying is, well, I want to add more sessions because that means I could potentially add more people, but it's a delicate balance, right? You don't want to add too many, overextend yourself before you have the demand there, right? So it sounds like what you were saying is like, well, I'll test out this time slot for 3 months and see if I can get it filled, see if I can get people to move, and that opens up more spots in the earlier, in the more in-demand time spot, and you do the tests. And were there any spots that you like cut? Were there any spots after some tests that weren't?
No, we actually just went through another one this past quarter, and we're gonna keep every time slot.
Nice.
We got up to 48 sessions a week right now, and we're still at 85% session utilization with about 150 members. But the nice thing about doing those gambles is that you're always gonna get one or two that love that time. So now you're very clear at the start. Like, listen, Renee, like this Friday at 10, like I want to keep it, I do. But if it's not going to hit, we can't keep it. So if you like it,
If you know somebody,
and you know
if you want me to
somebody, and
keep
you
this
got some
spot,
friends, so they become a salesperson for you because they want
Right.
to keep that spot. Now they bring something in.
Right.
Now you're giving them sweatshirts, you're giving them hoodies, you're giving them like tats, and they become a salesperson for you. And like I'll give apparel to anybody that brings someone in. So it does, like if you can just like take it off the chin for a couple weeks and just like see what happens, it is worth the gamble in my opinion. If you're trying to fill a time slot, the client that loves it will be your best salesperson.
it's great advice. I will just caution gym owners, you don't want to do the reverse, right? You don't want to start your gym, go in a new space and just like open up the schedule, right? You gotta do it in steps. You gotta piecemeal it, one new class spot at a time, 2 at a time. Don't just say, okay, I have more space now, I have new equipment, I'm gonna have 3 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and 3 at night, right out the gate.
No, they have to sandwich between like whatever's already busy and busy. So if 9 o'clock is
Right.
busy, get the 10. If 10 o'clock is busy, get the 11. Like and go like right abut it. You know what I mean? Just because 9 and Wednesday at 9, Monday, Wednesday 9 is busy doesn't mean Tuesday, Thursday 10 will be busy. You know?
Right.
So you gotta
Right.
sandwich them.
Okay, cool. So tell me a little bit about the sports medicine piece, or actually no, before we get to that, tell me a little about the clientele again, because it sounds like you do some work, I think with special needs athletes and things like that. How did that part of the business develop?
Yeah, so that's like like my back pocket play that I'm super passionate about, and I think right now we're finally built to like launch it the right way. So, man, since 2004 into 2020, so it's 16, 17 years, I volunteered at a special needs camp, one-to-one camp reconciliation ratio, sleepaway camp for a week, and I loved it.
Oh wow, 1-to-1. Oh wow.
Yeah, my whole family did it, so it was fantastic. So you're essentially in a cabin with 8 to 10 other guys, and then you each have a camper, and there's a waterfront, there's horseback riding, there's like BB guns, there's like arts and crafts, there's anything you want to do with these campers you can do, and I absolutely loved it. We had kids and my priorities changed, my responsibilities changed, and the business got bigger, so that's where my focus is right now. But I've always loved that demographic. So the nice thing about the demographic is that they do have like discretionary income to expend on things like this. They do have an extensive network of like most people in the local area. Like they all know each other. They're all there to support each other. So that's one of the things that I'm eyeballing right now for 12, 1, and 2 o'clock. You know what I mean? So what program are they in? Do they have an afternoon job? Do they have a lunch break? Do they have transportation? Who gets them to the gym? So we're working on that infrastructure right now to fill those time slots of like 12, 1, and 2 that gyms that are crushing it are usually in some sort of corporate or business partnership, which we haven't tried, but that's because I'm kind of reserving that time for the special needs population that I want to get ahead of. So that's kind of how it started, is that my own volunteer service behind that community is like fueling the fire for the potential strength training for special needs.
Wow, that's amazing. That's incredible. And the business had to get to a point to be able to support those kinds of initiatives. So tell me about the other piece of the business. I know, so we got the small group training classes, and then tell me a little bit more about the sports performance, sports medicine piece of the business.
Yeah, so sports performance. I came from Mike Boyle's, and one thing that Mike did great, and he has a volume for, was that it was like middle school group, high school group, college groups, and it was awesome. And there was like 500 kids like coming on the hours, like fantastic. It was an unbelievable experience. I knew, because of the size of my facility, that I couldn't niche down on times of like middle school. This one we train middle school. This one we train high school. This one we train college, because it will like limit the availability of their schedule. Like the athlete schedule is already so tightly packed that if you make it even like tighter for people to get in, you're gonna run into issues, and then you're gonna miss out on like potential LBOs or potential memberships. So we train everybody together. So everything in the morning from like 5:45 all the way until 11 o'clock is all adults. From 3 until 7, you're going to get a mix of athletes and adults. So it's like, we have the athlete program, we have the adult program, we have a TV on the back wall. It's usually a split program of like, that's the adult side, that's the athlete side, and if you're the coach on the floor, it's your responsibility to coach both.
Oh wow! Okay.
So it's very manageable. Like if you watched it and you were like, oh, I get how he does it. Like that makes a lot of sense. Like that's how they can coach 2 programs at once. But we don't like push athletes to 4 o'clock and adults at 5 o'clock. Everyone trains together. So that in our practice, that's the best way to train athletes and to get them in, is to fit them with everybody else.
Okay, so it's an athlete specific program for. Okay, gotcha. And so then, how big is the facility? Give me. Let's paint a picture for the listeners here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a square. So it's like 1,000 square feet, but it's a square.
Wow.
So you could think of it like 100 by 100, or think of it like maybe like 80 by 110. But it's a square. And like I was looking for a square on purpose. So a lot of the industrial parks near us are rectangles. They're 30 by 80, right? And
Yeah.
I just didn't like that for the flow of my business. Like so, and I still don't love the flow of my business. Some businesses it can work. Hindsight being 2020, if you were gonna like stagger sessions, a rectangular shaped business will work better. So right now we're in a square that's 1,000 square feet. We can't stagger sessions. We can't have sessions every half hour. We can't have sessions every 15 minutes. So if you're in that room, you're training with that coach. So if we were gonna get into more athlete development or stagger sessions, we would look for a bigger facility that's probably a little bit more like rectangle, or if it was just a bigger square, which we prefer, we just have to pay more in rent because of where we are.
Okay, so how many per side then? If you have these 2 sessions, or not sessions, but these 2 group populations.
Yeah, no, good question. So yeah, it's not like that. So it's there's 6 people coaching, and like everyone's on the floor together. So for example, if you're the coach, you're leading the warm up, your range of motion, activation, movement preparation, and then at some point you're saying, all right, adults, here's our activation circuit. We're doing these 3 things. Athletes, you're going to your power circuit. We have box jumps, we have med ball slams outside, because we're kind of on like, there's a floor under us. If you look at us, it looks like we're on the first floor, but it's a big industrial building. There's someone under us, and they don't like when we med ball slam. So that's our outside. So after that, you break them up into their 2 separate circuits. Usually athletes are finishing like a little bit quicker, so you get them on their strength circuit. So now you have your 2 athletes that are beginning their like trap bar deadlift, the TRX row, and front plank. And then after you get them set up, the adults finish up their circuit. So now you're going, all right, adults, we're going to do our inverted rows, our split squats, and our side planks. And none of those exercises collide.
Right.
They're doing TRX row, they're not doing the inverted row. They're doing side plank, they're doing front plank. And they're doing split squat, they're doing trap bar. So you can break apart the session in your head that they don't collide. But it's not like, all right, adults and athletes, everyone has trap bar, and we're not pushing adults on this side and athletes on this side. So everyone's mixed. It's actually been a really good like mentorship opportunity. So we've had like a lot of college kids that, let's say they're in finance or something like that at Bryant University, and they're training with a guy that's a senior vice president at State Street. Like that's a great opportunity for you to make a connection, to get a future internship. So it's been really valuable. We've had people last week I was helping out to coach out a session that we had 12-year-olds and we had like 54-year-olds at their first session. And this first session, they're walking into the gym and they see 4 12-year-olds and them. That's his first session.
Wow.
Right? But we're pretty open and transparent on the phone. We're like, hey, Brian, like, just so you know, like, you're going to be working out with like middle school kids. Like, are you cool with that? Yeah, I'm cool with that. Don't worry about it. and it's like a comedy show to them, you know. So no one's ever been like totally annoyed by it. But we're very open, we're very transparent. We train everybody together. You're still gonna have like your program because you're on the adult program, but it's your program.
Wow.
But they're gonna do their thing. You're gonna do their thing. So.
Okay, so we got the mini episode, folks, but we got a few minutes left. You mentioned something interesting about your LBO, your free week. So how are people finding you now, and what's the process with getting started? And you brought up an interesting point. How are you explaining, like, well, you might be in with some kids at 6 p.m. or whatever, 5 p.m., whatever it is. So what's the process now for getting people enrolled?
A lot of people find us through Google when they I mean, you know this obviously with Kilo, but we get a lot of like website traffic, a lot of forms, a lot of like website forms that come in, and then we have the 2-minute automation, which is a simple text of like, hey, Mateo, thanks for checking in. How'd you hear about us? Like super simple. Like that's the first automation, and really I like it because like it's automatic, and then if they reply to that, then the conversation is custom.
Then you start, yeah.
Then we start. So that's the only automation. Everything after that is custom. But it's a lot of like Googling. They found us on some very few on Instagram. Very, very few on Instagram. What we recently started doing is like storytelling on our stories. So whatever we post, whatever I posted yesterday, it'll be like a 3-slide deck on our story of like if I posted something about confidence, like our slide would have like our stories would have like, you know, do you lack confidence when you're in the gym, you know, and a couple other questions. Then I'd reshare like whatever post I had yesterday. So I'm constantly sharing and recycling previous organic stuff that I did. And then if they follow us on Instagram, it's like automatic like sell by chat.
Yeah.
Like here we go, like let's go down. But you got to keep it quick and concise, and they can't get in the friend zone. And if they want to get in, you give them that free week, you get their email, and you send it right to them.
So say, hey, what had you interested, or thanks for checking us out. You do the conversation, you figure out, you know, what they're interested in, what their goals are, and then the free week is what you're saying. So is there any kind of, like, they have to put a credit card down, they have to come in for an assessment, or how do you actually get them in for the...
Yeah, so we have an admin now who's a member experience manager, and our admin is actually a woman who owned the house at the basement was in, so it's full circle. Yeah. She watches my kids too. Yeah, so it's full circle. She's like, yeah. So so she's their member experience manager. She's my admin, right? So I just tell them like, hey, Mateo, like, thanks for checking in. Like, so on the phone we're talking. You're interested. I say the next person you're gonna hear from is Donna Lee, right? Donna Lee is gonna get you on the Nothing Stronger app. Download that link. You're going to see your schedule right up on that. It's going to ask you for a credit card. Just put one in. You won't be charged. So we get the card. We don't charge them. And then, just like P was talking today about architect, the price, the session architect, pricing architect. Mm-hmm. But if we get them in for the Monday, Wednesday, 7. So you're training Monday, Wednesday, 7 a.m. We know we have your credit card on file. We didn't charge you. We're just going to crush the service on Monday and really not say much after that. Just say, hey, can't wait to see you on Wednesday. They come back on Wednesday. We start building that rapport. And then I'd say something like, hey, Mateo, if you want this spot, like, it's yours. If you don't want it, you can opt out. So we kind of give that permission of like, this is yours if you want it, you know, if you don't. So we have almost like you got to take something away from someone, and no one likes when you take things away. I got 3 kids under 4. No one likes when you got to take these. So adults are the same way. They don't want things taken away. They've had a good experience. You've done a good coaching job. And they're going to be like, yeah, you know what? Like, I'll be here next week, because they know that spot's theirs.
At what point do you tell them about the price? At what point is in that process? On the phone.
Yeah, on the phone.
So you tell them about the price. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about that right now. Let's just see if you like it. Let's get you in. Mm-hmm. We'll put you in for it. What do you like to work out? Mornings or evenings? I like mornings. Yeah. Okay, I got you Monday, Wednesday, and Friday this week. Sound good? Great. And then do the app, get your free pass.
Yeah. It's very low-key sales, and I don't like being sold to, and when I ask someone like what the price is, I don't want to be like, well, and then like I just got this person goes around the rotary of like whatever it is.
Well, it depends on what your goals are.
Yeah, and I'm just like, here's a price. You know what I mean? It's like, how's that sound? And honestly, like, some of the best things are like, hey, that's on my budget. Hey, no problem. Here are 3 gyms that I recommend that are a little bit like more cost effective. However, just so you know, you're going to be working in a group of like 12, 18, 20 people, and it won't be as individualized. So you still provide your value, but you're also giving them an option of like, Here's a gym that maybe $20 less an hour, but they're gonna go have that experience. You hope they go to that gym, but then now let's say they catch the fitness bug. For another $20 more an hour, I actually would like something a little bit more individualized and focused. And maybe like 18 is a lot of people. Maybe I do want to go to a gym with just 6. And is that worth another $20 an hour? So you kind of hope they have that conversation 2 years later.
What's the price per session?
45 an hour for 2 days a week, and then 40 an hour for 3 days a week.
Okay, so there's a little bit of a discount if you do the. Okay, nice, sweet. And are they an hour long, or are they?
Yeah, 55 minutes. Fist bumps by 5 of.
Fist fights?
Yeah.
Fist bumps by
It's not
5
good.
of.
We got like six coat rack things, so the
Yeah,
next
yeah,
6 are
right,
covered
right.
in.
You
So
gotta get out of
you gotta
here.
go. You gotta go.
So, and then, so those 6, and then to reiterate, those 6 people in that session could be a mix of youth athletes and then adults. And then the training itself, it's templated, but also kind of custom.
So here's how it goes. So we use Team Builder. We go on the weightlifting view. If you've ever been on Team Builder, you go on the weightlifting view, and you pull up. We have like let's say like we pull up Kristen, because Kristen has like the program. She doesn't have a modified program. So we screenshot Kristen. We put her program just without her name like up on the TV. So now we have a template on the TV on the back wall. We also have an iPad off and to the right on the trash can, and that's like the individualized programs on there. So let's say you're working with my wife Jen, right, and you're going to her for your ankle. We're gonna have modifications on the black iPad for your ankle. The white iPad over there on the other side of the gym, that has a template program that's screen shared on the TV. The black iPad has what are we doing with Mateo during his squat, because he can't squat. So now we're gonna do like whatever ankle rehab that is like on his Google sheet that Jen put together for Mateo. And you might be working with Brian, who just like has his working on his like QL for his back. Like we have the modifications for that. So if Jen's seeing Mateo, she will attach and send us a Google Drive of like, here are the substitutions that are possible for Mateo, and we go on Team Builder, we plug and play, and then we just run that play. So,
wow. Well, if we had more time, gym owners, we would dig into more of that process on how we're keeping the client sheets organized, who's designing all that, how much time we're spending. But we're gonna wrap things up. I guess to close it out. So we're getting close. How many people are you fitting into to the 1,000 square foot box here?
yes, we're on 143 right now at 48 sessions a week and 85% session utilization. I want to get to 150 and see what it feels like. And then I think we can even push that a little bit more if we niche down on special needs inside
in that
specific
afternoon.
in the afternoon. Yeah.
And then there's that question, gym owner, once we get to 150, once we pack out the afternoon, where do we go from here? Do we open the next one? Do we expand? Do we stay where we're at and keep cashing the check?
That's a
what
big
do we
question.
do? That's the big question,
That's the big
right?
question. That's the big question. What's nice about like Nothing Stronger is that like the ace in the hole that we have is my wife with sports medicine. So let's say you're doing the simple numbers and you're just gonna multiply like, all right, let's say he's getting $350 a month for average revenue per member, like times that, by 150, like, oh, that's a pretty penny. But we have Jen, right? And she can produce additional revenue just through that like 200, 300 square foot room because of sports medicine. So it's nice to have that too. So the potential revenue is like that much more. And ideally we help change like the industry of athletic training, that they're so overworked, they're underpaid, but they're very, very smart people. And Jen's trying to like lead the charge as far as like athletic training, seeing themselves as business owners, and then just like, you're a college athletic trainer and you have to go wherever the team goes. Like that's your schedule,
Right.
wherever the team goes. And she has completely broke free of that. She's her own independent business owner. I mean, we're business together, 50-50. It's one business, it's one brand. But I like that she has this vision that athletic trainers can just be better and make more money and have better schedules. So if you can get something like that inside your practice, it's very valuable.
Well, on that note, gym owner, we got to wrap things up. The sun is blinding me in my eye. We have dinner reservations we got to get to. But Tim, thanks for having us on. If people want to follow along on the journey, see what you guys do next, where can they find you?
At Nothing Stronger, and Tim at nothingstrongergym.com.
There you go. And if you want to learn more about us, gym owner, you can follow us, Gym World Worldwide YouTube channel. Give us a little like and subscribe notification bell so you don't miss out on the episodes. You can review us on the podcast places. And if you need some help with your website, with your marketing, with your gym management software, go to usekilo.com, check us out. And with that, we'll catch you next time.